You're listening to the Convene Connections podcast with your host, Matthew Curry.
Hello, everybody. How are you doing tonight? I am with my friend Greg Wilson. How are you, Greg?
Fantastic.
All right. So people are probably wondering what we're doing because we're sitting out here in hot Charleston, South Carolina.
Sweltering hot.
Smoking hot Charleston, South Carolina. And we're here. You can see we've got a baseball game going on behind us. And so, hey, Greg, thanks for being on.
Jeez, this has been a long time coming. We've been trying this for months now.
Yeah, trying it for months, but we finally got it. And this time we got it live, right? So
yeah, this is
cool.
great. And on scene. So
and on scene,
better.
so we got a great background. So why don't, first off, you tell us a little bit about yourself.
Okay.
And, how you and I became friends and how we're related. Related like brothers.
Yeah, exactly.
Because we are. That's right.
Sure.
All right, so go ahead.
So, as you know, I served in the Marine Corps.
Mm-hmm.
I joined all the way back in the early 90s and served an entire career in the Marine Corps.
Absolutely.
I'm what they call a Mustang. I know you're familiar with that. Mustang is somebody that has served enlisted time. I actually did 10 years enlisted time, made it all the way up to the rank of the staff sergeant. I was a C-130 loadmaster, and I deployed all over the place and, did the deal and did the duty. And I told my wife we were stationed in Okinawa, Japan, and I said, we're getting off this rock early.
Yeah.
And, 5.5 years later,
Absolutely.
I got picked up for OCS. And
Yeah.
they sent me back to officer candidate school, made me a second lieutenant as 31 years old. And following that, I went up through the adjutant pipeline.
Yeah.
And I really wanted to go back to do something cool and exciting.
Yeah.
So I
like be a pilot?
yeah, well, but that was definitely off the table, being an old fart like I was. So unfortunately, they wouldn't accept me to the program. But I did manage, after a couple of deployments and a few duty stations, I got my job as a series commander.
Yeah.
At the recruit depot, and it was super cool to finally back in a leadership role as an officer.
Mm-hmm.
And doing those kinds of things. And sure enough, they made me a major and sent me to the East Coast to be part of the Wounded Warrior Battalion.
That's right.
And within just a month or two, I became the executive officer, the second in command. It's kind of like your vice president.
Yeah.
Of the Wounded Warrior Battalion. And, the first thing that I had to kind of deal with was all of these organizations that come to the battalion and say, hey, we need wounded warriors that can come on this golf trip. Hey,
Yeah.
we need wounded warriors that can go on a fishing trip. And none of that was sustaining.
Yeah.
It's all just, hey, we want to offer this up, and it's a good feel good, and I'm not knocking this at all.
Yeah.
I think it's great opportunities, but where the rubber really meets the road for the wounded warriors that leave the service is some type of sustainment and a long-term commitment.
Yeah.
You could take a guy out for a round of golf and, or a gal out hunting, but unless you continue to do that,
Yeah.
your engagement window is so incredibly small.
Yeah. Absolutely.
And so while I was there as the XO, as a matter of fact, in 2014, I was a college umpire. I'd moved from the West Coast. I was there in San Diego, for God's sakes. And they moved me to Poda, North Carolina, to Camp Lejeune, where the mosquitoes bite and it's sweltering hot.
Yeah.
And they sent me there. And so here I was moving cross country as a college umpire myself, and I had to reach out to my umpire network.
Yeah. Absolutely.
And I had to say, hey, I want to get games in North Carolina. How do I get these games? And I went and talked to a guy named Tom Heiler. He's the director of umpire training for all the NCAA. And he said, yeah, I'm going to hook you up with this guy in North Carolina, and then we'll get you some work out there. And the brotherhood of umpires just immediately came together to serve me in an active duty stance.
Yeah.
So it was that kind of a moment that inspired me and some other guys to get together to create what we call now the Wounded Warrior Umpire Academy.
Absolutely.
We do college baseball. We recognize the brotherhood of the community of umpires as, the third team on the field.
Absolutely.
And how we take care of each other. At the end of the day, when you walk off the field, the umpires are the only ones that could care less who wins or loses the game.
Yeah.
But they have to look out for each other.
Yeah.
And it's very similar to what we experienced in military service.
Yeah.
So we created this concept back in 2014. It was 13, actually. Our first concept camp was in summer of June 2014. And what we did at that camp literally was, let's see how many we can get.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, we were totally disorganized.
Yeah.
We went under the umbrella of the Colorado Collegiate Umpires Association. And the president of that organization brought us in and said, I don't know, let's see what happens. Dude, the first night, we take all the Warriors we brought. We got 14 that year.
Yeah.
We brought them all to a Golden Corral because, like, holy crap, we got to feed these guys. Let's go to the buffet, you know?
Yeah.
So you think, all right, I need some food in these guys. I have no idea how much these guys are going to eat. And so we're kind of learning on the fly, right? And so I'm sitting at the table with, you know, an incredibly experienced umpire from the World Series, like 4 or 5 World Series rings.
Yeah.
Sitting at the table with me, a collegiate D1 conference coordinator, the D2 national coordinator of umpires across the NCAA, and another D1 umpire, and I were sitting there. All right, get a napkin. What are we going to teach these guys? Dude, we put it together after they were there.
Yeah.
We had no idea what we were getting into. We just thought we wanted something that would
Yeah.
be able to sustain these guys. And we thought, why not teach them the game of baseball?
Yeah.
And then get them off the couch and they'll come out and it's something they can use back home. And we immediately thought, I just used that connection network all the way from the West Coast to the East Coast. We could use the same network to get guys captured in their hometowns and get them reconnected to their communities.
Yeah.
So, so fast forward to 2019, we're running our fifth or I'm sorry, public math eludes me.
Yeah.
So
Marine math.
that's right.
Marine math.
I took that, but it was so many years ago. So fast forward to 2019, and I was fortunate enough to, you know, be introduced to you by one of the board members, David Pritchett.
Yep.
And I think you emailed me or called me or something back and forth, like within 2 weeks of the camp starting.
Yeah.
And usually I'm like, bro, next year, baby.
Yeah.
But man, when I saw your registration come through and I saw all the similarities
Yeah.
and parallels of our career with your aviation career and being a Marine major yourself, and there were so many connections.
Yeah.
And I don't know if I told you this or not, but I made the decision on the spot to go ahead and let you in because after 5 or 6 years of doing the camp and constantly giving back and giving back, I realized I'm one of those guys.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm sitting on a disability myself.
Yeah.
And I'm a retired Marine trying to figure out how to make it in the world too. And I brought you in for a lot of selfish reasons.
That's right.
Because I was like, man, I don't have anybody I bring in that I can truly relate to because here I am, I'm the major.
Yeah.
I'm the guy that runs the show. I was the executive officer of the Wounded Warrior Battalion. And I walk out and I'm not even Greg.
Yeah.
It's like, who's this dude?
Yeah.
What's your resume look like? Yeah, you're overqualified. Go work at Wendy's.
Yeah, that's right. Absolutely.
So I brought you in, and man, we hit it off.
You got a big fly ball over
yeah,
here.
there it is.
There it is right there.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, we did. We hit it off. We became good friends. And it was great for me. I'll tell you, the way I came to Wounded Warriors, I met Greg at a function where he was speaking about Wounded Warrior Umpire Academy. The ironic thing was my son, Braden, many people have seen him that watch Convene, but he had just finished playing college soccer. And my wife said to me, Tisha, she was like, hey, maybe you should get back into baseball. Go coach, go umpire. And then, you know, a week later, I'm meeting David and putting in the application. And then boom, 2 weeks later, I'm at the camp. Yeah. And it was hard. Being an umpire, being a baseball player is one thing. Being an umpire is a completely different skill set. I can't even tell you how different it is. But yeah, we've become good friends. We recently went to the Daytona 500 together. That was awesome. And but it's really, I just commend you. And I want to say this, I commend Greg, but I also commend his wife, Melanie, for really being just a huge part of this and doing all that you guys have done. Because I have watched in just this 1 year, a little over a year of being a part of it, you made difference in veterans' lives. And that is truly what this is about. It's it is about baseball, and I know we're gonna talk about this, and you're gonna talk about it. It's about baseball, but it's also about making a difference in veterans' lives.
That's right.
And I'll tell you, I'm gonna bring this up now. Many people might know, but today is a big day for me, and a lot of my friends, because this is July 9th, and on July 9th, 2001, I lost one of my good friends in a helicopter accident. That's the reason why Convene is what it is, And to be here today, normally I'm thinking about it all day, and I'm in it, but today I'm with other brothers and sisters in the military, and it makes a huge difference. So I just appreciate everything you guys do, and because when you're here, it makes a difference being around people that understand.
And I'm really glad you're here, and I didn't know about it until you told me today, this morning, that this happened. But I'll just have you do a live testimonial of my program and see, do a quick evaluation. But one of the things that we believe in is in the Wounded Warrior Umpire Academy, obviously, is veterans first.
Yeah.
And one of the ideas I got from another guy that had just deployed, a transition team guy, he kind of planted a seed for this that I didn't even know I was going to come up with. But he said, I saw a lot of stuff when I was over there. I have a lot of things that trouble me from day to day. But, man, for those 2 hours I was on the baseball field, I was compartmentalized and focused on the baseball game. And for 2 hours, I kind of had a stay of execution.
Oh, absolutely.
And nothing was bothering me because all I was thinking about. Now, today's you had two baseball games today.
I umpired 2 baseball games today.
And so, did you at least have a 4-hour release?
Yeah, absolutely. In fact, it's even more than that, to be honest with you, because, even though I umpired 2 games and had a 4-hour release, but it was with in between the games. We're out here supporting our other veterans and our other fellow umpires. So we're really, we're here, but it's not like we're sitting here doing nothing. We're supporting each other. But being on the field, there's nothing like it. I mean, and just everybody that's part of the organization. One of the great things about the Wounded Warrior Umpire Academy is, you have, college umpires. You've been able to, have some professional umpires that have been a part of it, and you guys all pour into us, right? You do, because you're a veteran. But even the ones that aren't veterans, right? Mm-hmm. It still means so much to them to be here and support, and I think it's wonderful.
Yeah, we've been fortunate over the years to have great support from, guys that just call us up out of the blue. Last year, as a matter of fact, I got a random phone call from a gentleman by the name of Mike Everett. And for those of you in the baseball community, know that Mike Everett was a big crew chief, did many World Series, and he saw our posts on Instagram.
Yeah.
And he called me up and said, "Hey, my name's Mike. I'm a Major League Baseball umpire. I'd really like to learn more about what you guys do."
Yeah.
And that's just one example of somebody that sees what we do and reaches out and wants to support us. And now Mike since has retired as an active umpire, and he's gone on to the supervision role.
Yeah.
But he and I have still been able to maintain communication to see where he could get more involved.
Yeah.
I know we're going to talk about this later, but I'll just throw it out there as a shout out that on August 26th, when we do our virtual conference for WWUA, I'm really hoping that Mike will be able to come on and answer some questions, maybe some tough questions. I mean, one of the things that I like about Mike's story is he changed his numbers halfway through his Major League Baseball career. He changed it to 57. And that 57 is significant to him because he and his father had a close relationship.
Yeah.
And when his father passed, he wanted 57 because his dad and him had a project of working on a 57 Chevy.
Yeah.
And so he still I don't know if he still has a 57 Chevy, but that's the story behind why he switched to number 57. I thought that was an amazing story.
Yeah.
And the passion he has, for family and support. Yeah. And I think he's going to be a great guy for us to have as part of the organization in any capacity that he can be.
Yeah, absolutely. So real quick, let's talk about just some of the people, some of the veterans. Let's actually touch on some of the veterans that have come through the academy that really have touched you that you know the academy has made a difference in. Because I'm here to tell you guys, anybody that's watching, if you know any veterans that are looking for a skill, it's not just come to the camp. You're getting a skill. You know, you're able to go out and use this skill if you want to. But you're becoming part of a brotherhood. And we'll bring up, for example, real quick, Big Mike, right? Big Mike being here, right? Talk a little bit about him, because he really doesn't umpire anymore, but he's here because it means so much to him. So talk about Big Mike.
Yeah, so Big Mike was one of those 14. Very first year, I was his XO. He was in my battalion, and him and his wife, Karen, were constantly dealing with stuff. And I mean, at the Wounded Warrior Battalion, it's always a family endeavor. Because we realize we're transitioning everybody out. And so we really try to bring the families together. And so we were working with Big Mike and Karen for a while. And this camp came up, and he signed up for it. We were really trying to get him to, open up and try more things. And I know the company was working on trying to get him to as many things as he would be willing to accept. And so I don't know where his reluctance was on whether or not he really wanted to come to the camp or not, but he said yes. He said, I kind of like baseball, I like sports. You'll let me give it a shot. So Mike came out in 2014, and everything seemed to go okay. He's got some things that he's dealing with, medications and whatnot that he's working through, and he does his best to manage those. And we're very sensitive to that in the academy. In that, hey, if you need to sit out, do your medications make you light sensitive? And then we have, like, Melanie's like our team mom, and she's constantly putting sunscreen on you.
That's right.
And making sure that, we're taking care of everybody. And we try to have a very structured schedule to support these guys, and make sure that they have breaks, and they can plan for their meals, and they plan for when they have to take meds. Some have to take meds 5 times a day. And that can be very tough when you're trying to teach them 30 days of baseball umpiring in 5 days.
It's like boot camp. I mean, but that's one of the great things about it, because it's familiar to us. Right? You've been there, you've done it, and it's very structured, and you're going through it like boot camp, which is really kind of cool, because you're sticking it in, and it's very busy.
Well, and guys like Big Mike, really appreciate that structure.
Absolutely.
And it makes them feel comfortable. It makes them feel safe. And the way that I do things is completely different than a lot of umpire camps out there, because I am military. And it's very important for me to keep it military, because that's their comfort zone. And I want to keep them in their comfort zone as much as I can, because it's all about the peer-to-peer support.
Absolutely.
And the thing about Big Mike that I love is that he embraces the side of our program that I think is the priority of the program.
That's why I wanted to bring him up.
It's not baseball. Baseball is my facade. It's my sneaky. Hey, like baseball? Well, good. Do I have a deal to tell you? It's my sales pitch. But I mean, you can take this as much as you want. We've had some of our veterans come through that have taken a hold of the baseball part of it and have run with it. And I'll talk to you about a guy named Kyle Bueno.
Absolutely.
And I know you know Kyle.
I was going to bring up Kyle.
So in Big Mike's case, he just wants the camaraderie of coming around to people that he knows love him. And he texts back and forth with my wife all the time. And I'm constantly like, hey, email your boyfriend and see what time he's going to be at the camp. So we tease sometimes, but we love Big Mike, because he's one of those guys that wants to come back, and he wants to be part of the program in any capacity that we need him in.
Absolutely.
And we let him do as much or as little as he needs to. We just want him here.
Absolutely.
Now, guys like Kyle Bueno, he came in first. I grabbed him from the baseball field. He was my son's baseball coach in Carteret County in North Carolina. And he was, on that side, like, hey, let's do coaching and stuff. And what Kyle did is he came to the camp thinking, I'm going to learn more about baseball, and we totally flipped it. He's like, I don't want to have anything to do with coaching anymore. I want to do everything with umpiring and he took the bull by the horns, and he's currently working in a college conference in North Carolina for Division II.
I'll say this about Kyle: like he made one of the biggest impacts on me at the camp. Right, one, we were Marines, so we connected.
Sure.
He really just, you know, I think we just bonded, you know, and it was because we really kind of, you know, we understood each other, you know, because we've all walked through it. But he was an amazing, because he was back not just as a student, but he came back as basically one of the coaches, and staff and really
instructors,
instructors, and it was just great. It was great to see that. So that's really cool.
And another thing that's really cool about Kyle is, and I like to use that as it's a great way to show both sides of the program, is that, you know, Kyle is out there really embracing the baseball side of it.
Yeah.
And it took him 3 or 4 years of coming back before he got the original purpose. And he comes up and he says, Greg, before you introduce me, and this was your camp in 19, he says, before you introduce me, I just want to let you know, can I share?
Yeah.
And I said, what do you mean? What do you want to share? He's like, well, I've been going through some stuff, and I think it will really help me if I can finally share my story.
Yeah.
And man, I tell you what, once he said he wanted to do that, I'm like, brother, the floor is yours.
And it was it was a great moment.
And he told a story, and sorry, Kyle, I hope you don't mind me, paraphrasing here, but Kyle told such an impactful and moving story about his time in deployed.
Yeah.
And losing Marines, that he'd never told that story to anybody.
Everybody. Yeah, that was his first time talking
Never
about it.
said it. And here he is in a public setting. There are, 40, 50 people in the room?
Yeah.
40, 50 people in the room, one of which, by the way, is a retired 2-star general.
Yeah.
Which is intimidating in and of itself.
Yeah. Once
you know that he's there. Even though, General Jim sits back there and they're like the grumpy old man. Anyway, that's another story. But in front of that audience, to have the courage to be able to share that story, not only moved everybody in the room, man, I know the impact it made on him too.
Yeah, it was great. It was very powerful.
Yeah.
Because here's, this, and with me and Convene and what we're talking about, we all have a story, right? We all have a story, and when you talk about veteran stories, that peer-to-peer counseling, right? That peer-to-peer coming together. You can talk to your veteran friends. You can talk to your veteran peers. And when you do that, we understand. We've been there.
There's no judgment.
Just like today is a day for me. Kyle has his own day.
Sure.
And he thinks about that, that firefight that he's in. And these are combat veterans, everyone. This is real-world combat veterans, and his story is amazing. It's also sad at the same time, because he lost some of his good friends in that day. Yeah. And it made a difference. It was impact. It was great for, the camp, great for him.
And out here behind us, we've got some of our veterans working that have the very, very same Alive Day.
Yeah.
They've got their own Alive Days. And those days are unknown to everybody. And unless you get in close with a veteran and you truly talk to them and try to befriend them and listen to what they've got to share with you, you never know.
Yeah.
I mean, hey brother, what's your birthday? What's your wife and what's your anniversary?
Yeah.
I mean, does anybody? They write on this application what's your Alive Day?
Yeah.
Nobody ever says any of that stuff.
Exactly.
But if you don't have organizations like ours that really truly tries to be there for the veteran community, I mean, at the end of the day, man, I struggle on a day-to-day basis. I call you all the time, and we talk all the time. And I need this organization as much as I know the service that I provide. But that's why I think I'm so successful with it, because we are veterans serving veterans.
Yeah.
And we get it. I mean, if you say, hey, when's your Alive Day? You know what the heck I'm talking about.
Yeah. Exactly.
I mean, for most of the community out there, if they've never heard that before, what's an Alive Day?
Yeah.
Well, frankly, it's the day you probably shouldn't be alive and somebody else took your spot.
Yeah.
And the survivor's guilt is
survivor's guilt is
overwhelming.
Survivor's guilt is a real thing, and I know that's one of the big things about today for my crew.
Sure.
Is that we were there when that helicopter went in the water, and you get that feeling of, hey, why them? Why not us? And that's just not a good feeling, but it's important. But let's talk a little bit about, this tournament. We weren't able to do a camp this year, unfortunately, because of this, where we're at. But this has been wonderful, right? Because at least this is something that has brought, a group of us together. So talk about this and how important, tournaments like this are for Wounded Warrior Umpire Academy.
Yeah, so our main, in order to talk about this, I probably need to talk first and foremost about how we do what we do.
Yeah, that's good.
And then I can bring this one in.
Yeah.
So we started off, I told you, we drew that training plan up
Yeah.
in the Golden Corral, and we really were pulling together as we went. And boy, after that first year, we learned a lot.
Mhm.
And one of our board members now was with me at the very beginning, Tim Hatfield. He had made a comment then, and I know it resonates and is very true to him today. And it resonates across the board, is you don't really realize the impact that the camp is actually going to have on you.
Yeah.
You think you're going to go in and do these great things and, serve veterans and give of yourself, but you don't realize the impact it truly makes on you. And Tim was like overwhelmed.
Yeah.
And, Tim's a great guy. Was able to get him back on the board finally.
Yeah, absolutely.
But, so here's what we do. I told you we lure them in, right? And I know I'm not telling you this because you went through this.
Yeah.
But for everybody watching, what we do is we basically lure everybody in under the guise of baseball. But the true thing that we're looking to do is just bring veterans together.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like, say, hey, come to my house for a barbecue.
Yeah.
I mean, there's no agenda. There's no structured. There was another organization that we listened to, and they were like, every time we do an event, if somebody gets up and just walks out of the event, we have to send somebody to get them, and we have to babysit them a little bit to make sure they don't. It's like, dude, that is not me.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm just another veteran here, just trying to say, you get it.
Yeah.
I want you with me, so when I crash, you can help pick me up.
Yeah.
So that's our main focus. But on the other side, man, we want to make some umpires.
Yeah.
And we want to make them the most badass umpires we can possibly be.
Yeah.
And the first thing that you can do to an umpire, and if you've ever watched a baseball game, even down to the youth level, from the second that umpire walks on the field, whether they're a crackerjack or whether they're a professional.
Yeah, absolutely.
And if they walk out there and they got jeans on and, the old school balloon that stick your chin under, and they're walking out with that kind of trash, man, you can tell right away this is going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah.
But if they walk out there and they're wearing trousers that are pressed, if they're wearing a current jersey and they've got a creased hat that's similar to mine, and they got shine shoes, they hold themselves higher, they march out there. I mean, am I telling you any qualities not of a military person?
Well, I'll tell you this. You're right, and I'll tell you this. We were at a field yesterday.
Yeah.
And there were the Wounded Warrior umpires, and there were other umpires.
That's right.
And we looked good. And not saying they look bad, but they didn't look good.
They didn't look as good as us.
They didn't look as good as us. And that's the truth, but you could tell. You could tell.
So what we did that very first year is we said, we want these guys to look awesome.
Yeah.
I mean, we're bringing in military people. We're going to talk to them about discipline and, judgment, adhering to rules, and professional, personal military appearances.
Yeah.
So we couldn't just give them like, hey, let's go to Kohl's and get ourselves a couple of gray slacks. We called Jim Kirk at umpattire.com and said, Jim, this is what we're thinking about doing. What do you think?
Yeah.
Man, he was in.
Yeah.
He was in from the word go, and he said, I'm going to support you right out the warehouse. We're gonna get you everything you need. Send me what you want. And we had to kind of sit down for a minute and be like, if I didn't have anything, what would I want?
Yeah.
And so we're literally drawing this thing up, and I think the first year we forgot plate brushes.
Yeah.
Like, oh yeah, you got to brush the plate off somehow.
It gets dirty.
Yeah. So Jim was in from the word go.
Yeah.
And
awesome.
And then we said, we're a little short on funds. Here's the cool part. I was still active duty at the time, and at the Wounded Warrior Battalion we had resources. And one of my good friends there was Dawn Van Skyke, as a caseworker for the Injured Marine Semper Fi Fund.
Yeah.
And I went over to talk to Dawn, and I said, so a couple of buddies of mine, and we're thinking about doing something like this. Do you think if something like this is feasible? And she's like, Greg, we can support you. I was
Yeah.
like, what?
Yeah.
I'm just asking from an organizational standpoint if
Yeah.
something like this could work. And she's, next thing you know, she's like, you know what? I think we could pay for their airfare.
Yeah.
And their probably some of their lodging. So
Yeah, that's amazing.
Let me know who you get, and I bet you we can support them. So right off the bat, I got a couple of huge sponsors, and fortunately enough, knock on wood, I still got them today.
Yeah, absolutely.
I love the Injured Marine Semper Fi Fund and umpire.com.
Yeah, absolutely.
I could not do what I do without them.
Yeah.
So we brought these guys aboard, and I'll fast forward to what we do at the camp. We bring all these veterans in, and we say, look, bring the shirt off your back.
Yeah.
You don't need
Absolutely.
anything else. I don't care if you got any experience. I don't care if you've ever played baseball before.
Shantoya. Yeah, there's a young lady here named Shantoya. We asked, did you ever play softball? We were talking about it the other day. You ever play softball? You ever play baseball? She just got done umpiring this game behind us right now, and no experience. But
None.
She's out here umpiring a college prospects tournament.
That's right.
Yeah.
Now, the very first year we had a guy, Darcy Dean, who had, we were teaching the balls and strikes mechanic class, and he leans over and he says, so how many times a pitcher throw it down in this vicinity before you just give up and send him to the base? I was like, are you talking about a walk? He's like, is that what it's called? Doesn't he run to first? I mean, that literal, dude, and he had no idea. And man, you know what he's doing? He's umpiring baseball in Jacksonville, North Carolina.
Yeah.
He's all over it.
Yeah, that's so cool.
So what we do is we give them quality professional training, collegiate umpire training, I guess.
Yeah.
But we do have some pro umpires come out from time to time.
Yeah.
And dude, we give them everything out of the kit.
Yeah.
We give them a kit bag that weighs about 45 to 50 pounds, and it's got
everything.
The high quality
Everything.
diamond mask from Diamond, who donates those.
Yeah.
We do the Wilson chest protectors. We do the Wilson shin guards. New Balance does the shoes, not just a pair of plate shoes, but a pair of base shoes.
Yeah.
Force 3 gives us ball bags. I mean, all of these organizations like Smitty gives us the shirts, and they give us all this gear through umpattire.com.
Yeah.
And we got about $1,500 worth of equipment
that
we're like, here, dude, you're gonna look like $1 million whether you know anything about baseball or not.
If you're in the military, it's like going through the supply line when you get there.
That's exactly right.
Exactly. It's set up like so. Again, it's familiar to you.
That's right.
You get your bag and you walk through the supply line. You grab your stuff and you go sit down. And then you start teaching people how to put their stuff on.
Yeah, but before that, the military part of inventory, you remember that?
Yeah.
I do it just like recruit training style. I say, all right, everybody hold up your bag.
Yeah.
Okay, everybody's got one. Everybody hold up your chest protector.
Yeah.
Hey, that guy over there needs a chest protector. And then I go, bag it.
Yeah.
And throw it in the bag. We do it full military style.
Just like going to boot camp. Just like it.
That's right.
So again, you're building that. We're all used to that, right? We've been there. We've gone through boot camp. We've been through that. So that process starts, and then it just builds from there. We start out with line training every morning.
That's right.
Right, just like you do in the Marine Corps.
Yeah, your basic signals. I mean, during a course of a game, an umpire is going to call an out or a safe many times. So we want those crisp. So it's part of your daily 6.
Yeah.
Get online. Here we go. Your first call is a strike. Stay down on your ball call and come up and give a good solid pound of door. And we do all that stuff in line training. We break it down Barney style. And then we break down into small units, small teams like fire teams.
Yeah.
And we break down into fire teams, and we do rotations where they do hands-on experience in certain plays. And then we do that military style too. We're like, all right, rotate stations. It's like a circuit course.
Yeah.
So we keep everything very military-like, so that everybody still stays within their comfort zone, even though I'm fire hosing them with the skills necessary to be successful.
And as a player, somebody who played again, all the way growing up through college, it's so much different.
Oh, it is.
It is so.
You'll never watch the game the same again.
Being an umpire is so much different than being a baseball player. I can't even explain. That is so cool. Yeah.
So let's tie this together. We've got our basic camp where we basically have them here for 10 days.
Yeah.
And the first couple days are admin, and we get you all your gear, and then we give you good 5 solid days of training. And one of the things that I got feedback on was, thanks for not babying me. Thanks for not treating me like I'm some invalid because I'm a wounded warrior.
Yeah.
You know, we adopted the motto, still in the fight. Because you're still in the fight, man. You're still out there trying to say,
absolutely.
hey, I'm hooking and jabbing. I'm trying to do what I need to do every day. But I just struggle sometimes.
Yeah.
So we're here for you. We're still in the fight with you. So we take them over a course of 5 days. Bro, we're out there online at like 8 a.m.
Yeah.
And then we go and we bring lunch in so we don't waste time.
Yeah, absolutely.
And we feed you the whole course.
Yeah.
And then we run you until about 1600, and then we take you back. You get like an hour break, and then we feed you again.
Yeah.
And you got classroom skills from 18 to 2000.
Yeah.
So you're smoked.
Yeah.
You're
You're
smoked.
tired.
But there's so much knowledge and information that you're getting that come graduation day on day 7 when you're at the camp, you graduate and you get into your first live games.
Yeah. Absolutely.
And when you get out on a field and you just take 5 days worth of information and regurgitate it onto the field, the level of confidence in you builds immensely.
Yeah.
And then you're like, man, I can do that.
Yeah.
Oh, this is gonna be fun.
Yeah.
And then we take you, just to show you that you could do that, we take you to a tournament for the weekend, and we give you on-hands experience with working an entire full game with kids, 8 to 12 years old, and you work your first game. So after 10 days, you leave the academy not only with the knowledge and the skills, you leave with all the equipment, and you got about a half a dozen, maybe 4 games.
I worked 6. I know I worked 6 last year.
That was cool. And you get all that. You get enough experience to go back home and say, I got my own gear. I've been trained. And, oh, by the way, this guy that's in college baseball is vouching for me.
Yeah, and that's exactly what happened with me, because I met David to get into the camp. I go back, and David makes the phone calls for me and sets me up with the people back home.
Yeah.
And so I'm immediately in, with the leagues around home, just seeing pitches, working games.
Right.
Worked last weekend, and I'm working Tuesday night, already. That signed up this week. So you get those connections, and that comes from the Wounded Warrior Umpire Academy.
That's right.
And just the umpire community itself.
Yeah. So that's our basic camp. And to go back to your original question, what are we doing here? Once you guys know the skill, we try to get you reconnected to your own communities.
Yeah.
But we don't want to forget you. So we've had 87 veterans go through our program that are currently on my roster, and we call them up and we say, hey, we've got a tournament that we can work in Charleston. Would you like to come out? And we fly them out here. We give them mileage if they want to drive. We put them up in a hotel. Usually here in Charleston, we stay in the barracks at the Citadel. Again, we try to keep the military atmosphere.
Yeah, absolutely.
So the Citadel, unfortunately, was changing out the trailer that we usually stay in. So we didn't have a place to stay. So we stay in a hotel here, and we have the guy with a smoker.
Yeah,
and
guy all the way from Texas.
All the way from Texas. A Marine corporal that he and I were on as recruits on the depot in different platoons at that time.
Yeah.
It was the weirdest thing, but we made that connection here.
Yeah, that's cool.
So we use these events as kind of like, hey, come back and let's get everybody back together and do peer-to-peer support and just hang out and be part of the brotherhood. And this is truly what I meant for this to all be.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's something that I wanted to do where we come back together and say,
and it's so important.
I'm here for you.
Yeah.
Hey, so how you been the last 3 months?
Yeah.
What's going on? Is there anything I can do to help you? In like Big Mike's case, it's got nothing to do with baseball.
Yeah, he's not even umpiring here.
Nope.
He's just here for the brotherhood.
That's right.
Here to support.
That's right.
But you look up and you're in a game and you're sweating and there's Big Mike with the water.
Yep.
And
he's trying to help you out.
Yeah, trying to help you out and just it's part of it.
Yeah, there's no better place to be than around your brothers and sisters that get it and understand it. And when you're a veteran, really only other veterans are the ones that do.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's so cool what you're doing. Again, I just applaud everything that you're doing. I think that it's incredible. And, you're just making a difference in people's lives.
Sure.
And I'll say it again, Greg, you and Melanie, and it's a wonderful thing. But like you said, and we do definitely want to acknowledge that there's a lot of support out there that have really come together to help support Wounded Warrior and all the things that you're doing.
Yeah.
Really cool.
Yeah, we're really excited about it, and it's hard.
Yeah.
It's super hard. I know I've been on the phone with you before, and There's a lot of logistics that go into, putting an event like this together from, like tomorrow we're going to be at 2 different sites.
Yeah.
And things that are very critical for me is making sure that the veterans that are there are taken care of, so that if they need something from us, I want to be there for them. I say, hey, here's the shade, here's a bottle of water, here's whatever you need, I'm there for you. So we've got to kind of split our forces tomorrow, which is not something I typically like to do. But when you've got such a great crew like we do here, it's not so hard to do, because I can send people over there and we can be there for everybody. And then tomorrow night, we'll come back together just like we're going to do tonight. And we'll all meet in the lobby of the hotel. We'll probably chat for about 30 minutes and say, hey, how'd your day go? And people will be able to talk and feel like it's like a family reunion at some aspects.
It's really cool. And so before we close down here, because the game's over and they're getting the field all ready, they did. Let's talk about just a couple of things. It does take money to run this organization. I want to touch on something. There's a way, if you're watching, you want to donate anytime. How can they do that?
Well, there's a couple of different ways, but the quickest and easiest way right now, we set up a text link for the Holy City Classic. So if you pull out your smartphone and you dial 44321 and you text the words Holy City 2020, because we're in Charleston, it's the Holy City. So if you text Holy City 2020 to 44321, you'll get a link, and it'll have a little bit of information about how you could donate directly from your smartphone. Another way, after this tournament is shut down, just go to our website at woundedwarriorua.org, and we've got the donation links there. You can learn about our history, how we got started. You've got bios on all our board where us 2 schlubs are going to be on there.
That's right.
You've got a gallery of all our previous classes and all the veterans that are there. And you've got a link there for our events to see what are we doing next. And, one of the biggest things that we could ask for is, we need fundraising and we need the dollars, but at the end of the day, I need events like this.
Exactly.
So if you got events where you could use umpires and we can come out and, absorb the game fees to kind of offset some of our costs, it's all about trying to get these guys and gals together.
Absolutely.
And we're coming out of pocket for this to pay for this tournament, but that's why we exist.
Absolutely.
So a tournament director's already got to pay umpires anyway. Why not have us come out and do it? Give us an opportunity to have camaraderie. And that's how one of the biggest ways we can get support is just by having more events to bring our guys together.
And it'll be quality umpiring, I'm telling you.
It is quality. You're going to have I guarantee you're going to have a collegiate umpire watching every game.
That's right. And so that's good. So again, with the website, Melinda, if you're watching, thanks for doing that, because it's a great website. But and then I'll bring back up August 26th. So August 26th, we'll be putting stuff out, but you'll be able to watch us. And it's not only, you can watch for 2 reasons, right? You can watch if you're an umpire. You don't have to be a Wounded Warrior umpire, but it's going to be great in the morning session for umpires. And then in the afternoon session, it's going to be all, support veterans.
That's right.
So any organization can, help support or, watch and get support from what we're going to be talking about. It's going to be just a wonderful thing. And if you are a Wounded Warrior Umpire Academy alumni, we'll stay on afterwards and we'll have a little, get together afterwards and just kind of have a, little,
what do they call those? A Zoom happy hour?
We'll have a Zoom happy hour there. So for sure. It's just really great. I again, can't thank you enough for allowing me to come as a student, and then also just to be a board member and be a part of this organization, because I love what it does.
And I just want to thank you too for not only your friendship and and coming to the camp and saying yes, but also for opening Convene communities to us, to have our own community to where we can try to bring our guys together under the Convene model. And as we transition into that to be a community leader, we're so looking forward to using that platform to reach even more veterans. And I'm super excited about that, because that's a shortfall that we've had for some time. And I know we're going to be able to do that through Convene community. So thank you for opening that up.
So that's the Convene Umpires and Referees community. I actually had a conversation with Tim, who is a umpire educator, And he's like, man, we should bring some training in there, more training.
Absolutely.
So hopefully we'll be bringing a lot more training in there again, so people can, go through scenarios, go through just training on how to be an umpire and be a part of it. But if you are a veteran and you are somebody who is looking for just a great organization or would like to come to a camp, tell them how they can find. Hopefully next year we'll be back and we'll be having another camp, so tell them how they can find information again on that.
So that's we're on all the social media platforms. So
Yep.
we're on Facebook, we're on Instagram, we're on Twitter. You can find us under Wounded Warrior Umpire Academy on Facebook. WWUA 2014 is our tag for both Instagram and Twitter.
Yeah.
But our easiest way to find us is our website, woundedwarriorua.org, and there's a tab off to the right on the top.
Yep.
You can navigate to events, and you want to look at our 10-day camp that's listed under events. And under there, we're going to have the dates there.
Yeah.
We'll make the announcements on Convene. We'll make the announcements on all our social media platforms. But if you want to come and give this a shot, if you want to come and be a part of the WWUA or a group of veterans that get it and truly care, then we're going to open the registration link, say January, February time frame, and every June for 10 days, we're going to have that 10-day camp and try to bring people into the fold. And then the rest of the year, we do events like this to take care of the veterans that we already have in the organization. So we only do it one time a year to bring you in. But once you're in for life, and we got you.
Yeah.
And we're going to do everything we can to keep in contact with you,
Absolutely.
whether you come out and do our events or not.
Yeah. All right, everybody. Thank you. Thank you, brother.
My pleasure.
Love you
My
like
pleasure.
a brother, man.
You know it.
Semper Fi.
Hoorah.
That's right. Cizo, as always, as you take us out of here, thank you for doing this. Thanks, everybody, for watching. And just make sure to keep sharing information about the Wounded Warrior Umpire Academy. Thanks a lot, guys.